Now we're northbound 110 freeway, just passing Gage. That's the car that they're chasing right there, or should I say Tahoe. That's a larger sized, older Tahoe that you can see right there. LAPD Harbor Division is chasing it. I'm getting a little bit wider shot right there, showing you the number of officers from the LAPD that are behind this vehicle, lights and sirens, northbound on the 110 freeway. At one point, though, when we first got a glimpse of this chase, this guy was actually on the shoulder, all the way over in the emergency lane, going just a little bit faster, probably about 70 miles an hour on the 110 freeway northbound. You know, it's interesting because they're saying it's a stolen vehicle, and in this case, they don't really have an address where this person may be going, but they do have an area where this person is going. They're saying it's the Newton Division, and Newton Division is just south of the 10 freeway, just south of downtown Los Angeles. Looks like we're getting off the freeway right now at Slauson. Speeds have slowed down, kind of wondering if maybe that truck is pooping out, but you can see that vehicle still rolling off some 110 freeway northbound. Got off at Slauson. LAPD in pursuit, started in the harbor area earlier this afternoon, working its way northbound into the South Los Angeles area. Definitely, that car's definitely going under its own power. Eastbound on Slauson, LAPD still in pursuit.
Well, now, Stu, you said that they know where the victim is going and not exactly sure if they have an ID or not, and even if they run the plates, go ahead.
Well, Pat, what they're saying is they know the area where this truck was stolen from, the division from LAPD where this was stolen from. And that area is the area that LAPD covers. They call that Newton Division, and that's going to be south of the 10 freeway, just south of downtown Los Angeles, in that area right there. So they're thinking that this person might be making his way back over to that area. But take a look right now. This guy really starting to move, starting to do some crazy maneuvers out here. Slauson, very, very busy. Just went through San Pedro Boulevard. You can see him using the center lane. You can see him going against traffic. Right now, LAPD, the helicopter, saying because of these high speeds, go wrong side of the road, extremely high speeds right there. They're basically saying, look, you guys on the cars on the ground, you need to back off a little bit, give this guy some space. Hopefully, he's going to start slowing down a little bit. He's already passed Avalon. I can tell you this guy's probably moving about 60 miles an hour on the streets down here. Very, very dangerous situation indeed. Another major just central right there that we just passed. Back over, weaving back and forth.
Such a large
vehicle. Take a look at that
too.
Large truck. Yeah, Jeff, and then that thing is just swaying as he's making those turns. So you just hopefully all four wheels hold to the ground while he makes these crazy maneuvers. Hard turn right there, almost under the curb. I'll get you the name of that street. Looks like we're making a northbound turn right here. Smaller street, so we're going to be just past Central. Hoover, this is going to be northbound Hoover from Slauson. The helicopter not giving up. The helicopter staying right above there, getting close to 59th Street. You're getting a little bit of a closer look at that driver. He seems pretty relaxed in there, which is some scary stuff because he's making some crazy maneuvers. He just turned eastbound on 55th Street from Hoover. Now, the helicopter calling this out for the officers on the ground. They might not be right behind him, but I can tell you they are very, very close.
Is he slowing down, Stu? He's obeying the stop sign?
Slowing down for barely. He just rolled right through it. If it was you or I, that would have been a ticket right there. But this guy, he's got other things on his mind right now. But definitely slowing down, that's for sure. Maybe that tactic was working that LAPD's been trying to use, basically going into tracking mode. But he's still driving past other cars, wrong side of the road. I'm pretty sure that was a red light right there. You got some of those pedestrians kind of looking like, what's this guy doing? The speeds have slowed down. That is for sure. 55th Street seems to be the street he likes right now. He's continuing eastbound at a normal rate of speed, but the helicopter, they're still overhead. The ground units, the black and whites, the lights and sirens, the guys that might be taking this guy into custody shortly, they are nearby. But they're not right behind them right now. Right now, they're just going to try out this tracking, see how this goes.
Well, thankfully, he slowed down. It looked like there was a school zone there. I saw a number of kids, and I saw a yellow school zone sign.
Maybe that's why he slowed down, because of traffic right in front of him.
See these children glad to see that he slowed down at least through this area. Now, he is still blowing through these stops at the railroad crossing. Looks like the crossbuck just went down for the railroad crossing.
Well,
thankfully, those 3 units got through, too.
That's for sure.
Yep. And, you know, that shows you, though, that, you know, perhaps that tracking might have worked. This guy slowed down a little bit. These are the units that were originally in pursuit. These are the ones that we saw on the freeway. Right now, they're very, very concerned that that driver, the guy, only person in the car as we understand it right now, the driver, just described as a male, agitated and reaching around inside the car. Now, that's usually a very bad sign. That's going to put officers on edge. They don't know what he's reaching for, but they are definitely making it aware to the officers on the ground. Southbound Holmes is where we are right now. Coming back up on Slauson, looks like he's doing that, just kind of moving around down there, going against traffic. But right now, it's just a lot of, everything's kind of gridlocked.
Yeah, it looks like those cars. Look at that, Stu. It's almost like there were cars that looked like they had just stopped diagonally. Maybe they knew from the sirens that something was going on, and they just wanted to freeze where they were.
It definitely does. You know, and that's one of the reasons why LAPD likes to have those lights and sirens behind a suspect. They want to make sure that the public knows something is going on and that they get out of the way and they stay safe. Slauson, we just crossed the Alameda right now. Looks like we're making a sharp turn. Whoa, a very sharp turn right there. That's a large truck for it to fishtail like that. Southbound Alameda, and you can see right there, he picked one of those streets where there's less cars, but definitely LAPD still in pursuit down there. They're going to stay with this person, but he's definitely going away from the area where this thing was stolen. Made a turn right there on Randolph, eastbound Randolph. And first chance we really get to see this guy. They mailed, basically we know that this stolen vehicle, he's behind the wheel right now. Did he steal it? Gosh, you know, that's for the law enforcement to figure out later on. But the vehicle definitely reported stolen. This guy's driving it right now, not stopping for LAPD, and driving very reckless out here in the South Los Angeles area.
Looks like he's got both hands on the wheels. He's looking out the window. And Stu, what's the protocol and policy for police when it comes to, you know, not to get ahead of ourselves here, but eventually if they have to pit maneuver this vehicle, this is a larger SUV. You got those smaller cruisers behind. Do they will they pit a larger SUV like this?
Well, if they have the opportunity, things are safe, they will definitely pit that vehicle. The size does have something to do with it, but for the most part, as long as it's, you know, it's a front engine vehicle, the rear end is going to be lighter, and that pit maneuver, they just kind of come up and they don't hit it. They basically just get up close to it and push that rear end out. And then the car will lose control, in this case the Tahoe.
Well,
now
what is he going to do here?
Well, it seems like somebody got out of his way for him. Whoop, 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 no. Yeah, and you know, and that's the thing. You're just driving along, and you got this guy just cutting through. You know, you got the green, you're driving, and then somebody cuts you off like that. It's probably scary moments. Westbound Gage from Santa Fe is the last location they gave. This guy just pulled back into a residential neighborhood, but he's not slowing down. The slower speeds may give him the opportunity to do that pit, but they're not going to do it with other property in these smaller streets. And of course, you've got pedestrians out here. Yeah. It's a very scary situation, and it's a very dangerous situation. LAPD, all law enforcement trained for this. Looks like another gridlocked intersection that he seems to be taking advantage of. And we're back northbound Santa Fe, and you see the LAPD, they have that little opening right there. They see those cars are stopped, and they're going to make that move. But if it's a red light, those cruisers, those black and whites, even though they're lights and sirens, they will come to almost a complete stop at these intersections and make sure it's safe. Looks like we're starting to do that roundabout thing that we're doing because we're back on to Gage.
Yeah, just driving around trying to find something maybe, or maybe he's just doing this because he doesn't know where he is and he's just desperate and he's driving around.
Well, he knows he's caught, right, Stu? He knows he's caught. He has nowhere to go, that they won't be able to catch him. So we've seen this before, and let's just hope that that's what it is. He's just waiting to have that moment where he's going to give up and no one is going to get hurt.
Yeah, that'd be the smartest thing for him to do. That's what they're worried about. You
know, Stu, LAPD still close behind because they pulled off for a minute. They pulled off for a little bit and were following overhead, and then they seemed to pick up speed again when he started to slow down. I see him right there.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, and it looked like It looked like he was going to try to drive on the sidewalk right there, and there were some pedestrians. He didn't do it. That's a good sign. But this is one of those first ones where we're starting to see some heavy traffic. Westbound gauge, I believe we're back at Alameda, but you can see the heavy traffic. No, that's not Alameda. Yes, it is. It's Alameda. And you can see that the black and white's creeping up behind him. Even these guys, they're getting their doors open, got their guns out. They're probably shouting out commands, but I can't see this guy just stopping right now.
We can see him
waiting
moving.
on the light.
He's honking
just
his horn,
pushing his
it looks
way
like.
through. Yep, and there you go. The green light, and then we're back on the move again. Westbound gauge through Alameda, using that center lane, pushing people out of the way. Now some of these other people are starting to pull over, probably because they're starting to hear some of those lights and sirens. That's what they're supposed to do. This truck, though, continues to move. Stolen vehicle, some dangerous maneuvers earlier on. Hasn't hit anything yet. That's a great sign. But this chase in the South Los Angeles area continues. A lot of pedestrians out here this afternoon, a lot of other civilians on the roadway, and some tight streets out here with a lot of traffic. It just makes everything so tense.
Yeah, and we see him moving around in there. He's making gestures with his hands. Not sure if he's talking to somebody on a cell phone, but we can certainly see when you mentioned that the police believe that he could be agitated. He seemed to be. Now he's just kind of hanging out. Is that his arm? Hanging out the window?
No, he's just
the
he's got
window's
his hand
down.
there on the wheel. But you know what? You're right. It does look like he's got something in his hand right there. Maybe it is a cell phone, but definitely got something in his hand. We're trying to get a better shot. Not a weapon. It doesn't look like a weapon. At least I would hate to be the person to say not a weapon and then he has a weapon.
Well, it seems like there's something in the passenger seat
right
that he
there.
keeps going back and forth with. And when he was locked in at that intersection, he was honking his horn. And he's very busy with his hands. As you mentioned, Pat, he's got now his right hand on the wheel, but he moves it over to the passenger seat every now and then, so you wonder if he's smoking a cigarette or if he's got a phone or he's, you know, just who knows what he's doing. And he kind of is rocking back and forth in the seat as well. You know, a situation like this,
we're using everything we have.
All right,
we're using everything we have right now.
Is this a familiar street here,
Stu? As we can.
Is this a familiar street?
Let me get a little bit wider.
Again? Yep.
No. We're moving northbound again on a major northbound Holmes and through Slauson. So it's on one of those I call that a medium-sized street. Now we're making a turn westbound 55th Street. We've heard that one before. So back into that area off of 55th Street. So this is an area where he's been before. LAPD, they might not use the pit, but they might use something else to try to bring this to an end. This is the area where the train was coming through a little bit earlier.
It is.
Now the train is right there again.
Oh.
But he's just kind of going through those barriers. He doesn't seem to mind. But LAPD, they're going to wait till it is safe before they make their way through there. 55th Street, that's where we are. And we're working eastbound now. So this is an area he was before. Don't know, because it's a stolen vehicle, don't know where this suspect lives.
You know, Stu, since he is making some familiar turns, does this make it more amenable for LAPD to use a spike strip if they wanted to? Because he might be going over familiar territory. They may have time to get in place.
Most definitely. That is something that they're definitely going to use.
There it was,
Pat.
right there.
What is that right there?
Looks like he ran over it.
He went right over it. He went right over it. You know, Pat's on it tonight. I mean, she was like, hey, what about those spike strips? And there they are.
Yeah, you wonder.
So did they work?
It looked like
it
looked like at least the right front tire went over it, from what I could tell, Stu. And this is live breaking news here of a stolen vehicle pursuit of this Tahoe here. This is two school zones I saw him go through, Pat, earlier. Thankfully, he slowed down. It looks like just at that intersection of the stolen vehicle pursuit, he ran over, at least on the right front tire, a stop stick.
Now he's making another move here. He has been driving erratically at times, picking up speeds at times. I wouldn't say take the scenic route because he seems to be going around and around to some familiar streets and areas. We did see him stop just in time for a train to go through, but as you just saw live here on CBS 2, he just ran over a spike strip, and hopefully that did some damage.
Hope so. And
can't really tell. You know, we see more. Go ahead, Stu.
Oh, I was just going to say, it definitely has a front flat right now. At least one of those front tires is flat. Is this going to disable that vehicle? Probably not. And this guy, if it's a stolen car, you know, really, they always say, drive it like you stole it. He's probably just going to keep on pushing that thing as far as it'll go. Definitely has a flat tire in the front, which might actually impede his ability to swerve and make those turns. It does look like maybe one of the rears is also starting to go flat, at least on the driver's side. So it's going to start slowing down. Does appear that he seems to be drinking some water right now, so maybe
he's messing with something. And you can see he's fighting it too, because Stu, you can see he's fighting the steering wheel there, keeping it to the left, because with that flat tire on the right, the car is wanting to go to the right, and so he's fighting the steering a little bit there as you continue to go through the intersections and go around the corners. We've been through this intersection before.
Yeah, that's, again, familiar territory, familiar ground. And
he picked at least he picked a major. I would guess that this is going to be Slauson. Right now, we're going to be moving eastbound on Slauson. There's a possibility, you know, Pat might be able to guess another one's coming up here shortly. But you know, they've got 2 tires out, and it's going to be enough to impair the vehicle. And hopefully, this is going to be we'll see that, maybe we'll see those tires come off, and then the vehicle won't be able to go anymore, because I'm pretty sure that guy behind the wheel is just going to keep pushing this thing till that truck just does not go anymore. You know, we have 2 of those flat tires up in the front. Looks like he's got some of those larger wheels on there, low profile, so they went flat quick. And it's amazing that they're holding up as well as they are. Usually we see the tire come rolling off the rim at some point, but right now those tires still holding on, gripping onto those rims best they can. That driver just keeping pushing this truck. And still westbound Slauson, we're going to be getting close to the 110. I can't imagine this guy taking the 110. Does appear, I got to say, the rear wheel doesn't seem like it's going flat, but definitely that front driver, that one's out. Don't know about the passenger driver's side, but at least he has one down. And so this might be enough that when the wheel comes off, or the tire comes off that wheel, it might bring this thing to an end.
Yeah, you can hardly see much of the tire in the left front there.
Look at this. He looks like he was losing control again, or he's trying to make this turn. But he was swerving quite a bit.
He's lost a lot of the tire.
Not sure if that was on his own or if that was actually that vehicle. But, Stu, as you mentioned, and I know we were making light of this, but at the same time, yeah, if it's not his car, he would run it right down to the rim till it starts sparking, and probably doesn't care because he knows he's going to get apprehended.
Yeah, it's just
at some point.
It's just going to lengthen this pursuit, because they will
eventually. It's a matter of time.
Go ahead, Stu.
No, but it's one of those things. It's, you know, LAPD, they want to bring this to a stop. They want to make sure that nobody in the public gets hurt. They want to make sure the law enforcement is safe during these chases as well. And then you've got this guy behind the wheel, dare I say, knucklehead. Look at him. He's weaving it quickly, but using that center lane on Slauson, passing so many cars with a flat tire in a larger SUV, an older, larger SUV. And this is the problem. What you know, LAPD, they've got to bring this thing to an end safely, but how are you going to do it? They're approaching Broadway right there. You can see other LAPD units basically stopping traffic, making sure that the public is safe, letting this guy keep going. So we're through Broadway right now. As you're going to see, pretty soon we're going to see Figueroa. 110 freeways right here as well. I'm hoping he doesn't want to get back onto the freeway with those flat tires. There he goes. He's going underneath the freeway right there. Probably going to pop out on the other side. Right now, this is not going to be one of those times when he can do one of those tricks, because LAPD's right behind him. There he is, wrong side of the road.
They're staying with him.
And just coming right up onto Figueroa right now. A lot of traffic out here today. This guy's been lucky, you know, coming up through these, but right now, we're taking a look on the passenger side. Does seem like he only has one flat, and that tire holding on to that rim. Amazing stuff, I got to say. But it still is going to impair the ability of that truck, and it's just adding to this the factor every time he starts swerving, every time he starts getting close to any of these pedestrians or civilian vehicles.
Well, at least the spike strip is doing its job. It slowed him down, because at one point in time, Pat, he was going pretty fast through some of these residential areas in the intersection, going through intersections, red lights, stop signs, opposing side of traffic. This is breaking news here on CBS 2, a stolen vehicle pursuit. The driver behind the wheel of a stolen Tahoe.
And we know that this was stolen from the Newton division, and that's why LAPD, well, according to Stu, they actually know where the vehicle was stolen from, the Newton division, and he has basically remained in that area. The reason they were able to lay that spike strip down, I surmise, is that because he was going around in circles for a time, and he sort of laid some territory ground there for them to sort of anticipate his next move, where he would be, and it was successful. He certainly did run over it, but as we have been talking here with our Stu Mundell, just not exactly sure how many tires have been damaged by this vehicle. And Stu, I don't know, has he picked up a little more speed?
Definitely. And, you know, and he is working his way north. So we were in the South LA area. We're working north on Figueroa. If he keeps up this direction, we'll be in the Expo Park area very shortly. He just passed 51st Street. And he's coming up on 49th or 48th Street. So he's in that area. Figueroa, unusually light traffic this afternoon. This vehicle just continues to move a little bit slower, a little less of those crazy maneuvers that we saw earlier on. You got some pedestrians in the street down there, probably hearing the lights and sirens from the cars behind the LAPD. And coming up on Vernon. Now, Vernon's going to be one of those major streets, and you can see him kind of cutting over, trying to use that left lane where we've seen him using it so many times in the past, just, you know, to cut through those red lights. There we go, made his way through Vernon. Continuing on, we're definitely going to be in the Expo Park here area very shortly. LAPD, stolen vehicle. That's what it was. It was down in the Harbor Division, so think the San Pedro area. Not sure if it was Wilmington.
Nope, threw something out the window.
It looks like some... if I had to guess, I'd almost say it was Christmas wrapping. But you know, he just tossed something out of the truck. It was bizarre, at least.
Almost looked like
he just
one
tossed
of
it out
those
of the
pool
vehicle.
noodles or something. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Yeah, it just maybe he's trying to lighten the load. I don't know.
Well, there's littering.
But,
there's another charge.
Yep, littering.
Seriously, he's just wrecking.
And it looks like he's just going through the truck, and you know, we see him moving around down there. It looks like he's got something else in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, he's...
Yeah,
it's
but
almost...
if it's a stolen vehicle, maybe he's just kind of going through, seeing what he's got in the truck, and doesn't want it, throws it out.
Or he thought that was going to impede the LAPD following him. Not.
You never know.
That certainly is not going to happen.
We're going to take a look at the video here on the right part of your screen. This is when he threw something out of the window, the driver's side window. I don't know if that appears to be...
It looks pretty, well, can't really tell if it's light or not.
I don't know. It obviously was something that was getting in his way. He's been pretty fussy behind the wheel, moving his hands a lot to the back seat and to the passenger seat. And Patty just looks like he's a nervous guy that continues to move his hands and never keep him on the wheel. And that's a good shot of the front left wheel. It looks like there's hardly any rubber on it at all after hitting that spike strip.
Yeah, but something tells me this guy would just run it down until it started sparks started to fly. You know, Stu, I'm just wondering about the traffic now in the Exposition Park area. Has traffic picked up?
Well, you know, he has been picking like some very light traffic areas right now. Earlier on, it was very tight. We're working our way westbound. I'll get you the name of the street here in just a second. I believe that we're probably going to be on, I almost would say this is King, but I can't confirm that right now. I'll wait till they actually say that on the radio. But we're definitely in the Exposition Park. We're moving westbound right now. You can see him. You know, there you go, Jeff. It looks like he's honking that horn again. At least he's pounding on the steering wheel. Getting himself kind of stuck in some traffic right there. And you can see in this spot, it's going to be tough to get out. Now, LAPD, they probably have their lights and sirens on. They might even be doing that honking noise that you hear. So these people might be just getting off to the left or off to the right. That's what they're supposed to do. But right now, the traffic's kind of just blocked up. And if the LAPD sees the opportunity, they might try to make an approach on that car. But right now, they're back. They're staying at least a couple of car lengths.
He's backing up. He's going to back up. And you back up into a police car.
That's always a dangerous sign.
Well, then that's assault.
Yes, with a deadly
weapon.
If he does
that,
they would bring out their guns, of course, at that point in time. Looks like he's clearing this intersection, making the right-hand turn. And Stu, it seems that, like what Pat has said, even though he's got the rubber down to the rims,
we were on King and we're north. We were on King. Now we're going to be northbound on Vermont. So definitely the Exposition Park area. We're going to be coming up another train area. There's another railroad track right there on Expo Boulevard. The deal is right now we don't see any trains coming. So I'm just kind of hoping there won't be. We're still northbound on Vermont again. Usually it should be like packed with cars. Luckily at this moment it is not. And they're still in tracking mode. That's what they're saying. So they're just kind of behind them right now, probably trying to keep more the public safe than anything else. Just keeping an eye on them. That one tire, amazing, is still holding on to the rim right there. But he has one flat tire in the front from that spike strip. Very quick moving officer from the LAPD in thinking on his feet, saw that opportunity, put that spike strip down. And this guy, he hit it. Making that turn right now, I think we're going to be on Exposition Boulevard, and it looks like we're moving eastbound again, so we're very close to the USC campus
That's
right
now. USC, the Science Museum, and that certainly, when you get to that area, it's certainly traffic is going to pick up, and there will be more people on the streets, unfortunately. And I'm sure that's got to be going through the minds of the officers too, like, okay, you know, we really want to get this end it here and get this guy to stop. But he just seems to be going along, not as fast from what it looks like here, Stu, here in the studio.
No, definitely the speeds have really slowed down. I can't imagine why. I'm being serious about that. You know, it's an older Tahoe, but it seemed to have been going pretty well earlier on. That one flat tire doesn't really seem to be deterring the driver that much. So if he is driving slower, probably just because he wants to. The driver right now, the suspect, wants to. Stolen vehicle, that's what we know. The driver, he's behind the wheel of a stolen vehicle, and he's fleeing from officers of the LAPD, law enforcement. Another packed intersection right there. He's starting to use that left turn lane as we're working our way back towards Figueroa. Just kind of wondering where he's going to go. I believe that's going to be the Science Museum if I get a little bit wider, and you can see Figueroa coming up there in the shot. Looks like we're going to be making a turn to the south. Right now, though, traffic is going to be very light. LAPD right behind it. They use the spike strips. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to try to do something with that pit maneuver. But right now, haven't heard anything about that. I can tell you the units that are behind it, these ones that we're seeing right there, those three, all of those cars are originally from the Harbor Division down in San Pedro. They're the original cars that were behind it that tried to stop it earlier on when this thing first became a pursuit. They're still with it. Up here, this is going to be, let's just say, a different division of LAPD. I think this is the southwest area. But I can tell you that the officers that patrol this area, they know this is happening. They're close by. And if they can render aid, they definitely will. Right now, they're just kind of watching and waiting, seeing if the trouble comes to them.
All right, we want to mention that you are watching CBS 2 News at 6, and that is our Stu Mundell overhead, a pursuit that we've been on for at least 45 minutes now. I would say this stolen Tahoe is in the Exposition Park area of South Los Angeles. We have seen this vehicle go in and out of traffic, pick up speeds, drive erratically, make turns, driving in the wrong lanes. LAPD was able to, the Harbor Division of LAPD was able to lay a spike strip. The vehicle went over that spike strip. We know that at least one tire has been damaged. We believe in the front. And Stu, I'm not exactly sure if it's the driver's side or passenger side, but again, he has been slowing down somewhat, and it just makes me wonder if that's because the vehicle is damaged.
Well, maybe he's just biding his time. He's been lucky with the traffic. He's been lucky with the lights. Staying here on Figueroa southbound. We've worked our way, you know, when he made that turn, I think he was actually already south of all that I think it's called University Row. It's where all those great fast food places are that are keeping those college students fed and awake. But right now, we're definitely more south. Made another sharp turn right there because
there was another spike strip.
More spike strips. And there's what he threw out the window earlier on. Still not really 100% sure what that was, but those officers were there to take a look at what it was, and just happened to have some spike strips with them. You can see some pedestrians running out to the street right there, probably hearing the lights and sirens. Right now, though, southbound, now we're going back where we came from, basically. Traffic's going to start getting a little bit more tighter. He got lucky again, and this truck just keeps driving. LAPD keeps following. Luckily, we haven't seen anybody get hurt. And stolen vehicle with one flat tire right now. Southbound on Figueroa, leaving the Expo Park area, getting back into the South Los Angeles area. And that driver seems to be, I'd almost say, I'm not really 100% about, I can't read body language, but it almost looks like he's starting to get to that point where, not desperation, but almost to that point where he's like, oh, this has got to be over. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's despair.
So, Stu, would you say that second spike strip was successful? It looks like he may have tried to swerve over it, but it hit him.
Well, when they pull it out of the way so quickly, that's because they don't want any of the other officers to run it over after he hits it. We'd have to get the helicopter back onto the other side. We're going to wait till the opportunity presents itself. We haven't heard. Sometimes they'll actually say it. It was the spike strips worked. Haven't heard that yet. So right now we only know driver's side front flat. Chevy Tahoe, an older one, probably the 2000, maybe 2001. This truck has been moving at some high speeds earlier. Did some crazy maneuvers earlier on. Just kind of wondering, probably like what everybody else is why is he driving so slow right now? Probably the driver, not the vehicle. So that means if he gets cornered, he might kick it up again. Right now, LAPD in tracking mode. You have some 3 units from LAPD behind him, just trying to make sure that the public is safe. And now you got 4 there, 5 there. And you can see people actually on the streets knowing it's coming. Probably watching Channel 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably watching Channel 2, taking pictures, coming outside, taking some pictures. Not the thing that LAPD wants to see. I can tell you that. They do not want to see the public out here getting, they just don't want them to get hurt. That's what it is. Coming back up on 54th Street, and this chase continues south Los Angeles.
Well, you know what, Stu? We are going to have you track this for us, as you have been doing, and we will be coming back to this throughout the broadcast. But we do have more news to talk about today, obviously, and
So I'm just finding out we're back up on the web. I just got quiet because that's just how it always happens. As soon as they take us off as soon as the moment presents itself, things start to change up pretty quickly. That bus driver basically stopping that vehicle. Now he was trying to get out of the car. Now he got back in. Probably LAPD telling him either exit the vehicle. I'm wondering if there's any seniors inside that truck. If there is, I'm just hopeful they're okay. And you can see that moving the vehicle out of the way. Don't know if that's the best move. Right now, though, he does have his hands up. LAPD has their weapons out. And this is the thing, too. You can see LAPD telling people, get back, get back, get back. A lot of times they'll say, oh, why do they do it? They don't want this. If this becomes a shooting, they just don't want anybody to get hurt. That's it. That's the reason. Bullets ricochet. Anyways, suspect out of the vehicle, doing his thing right there. I'm sure he's not doing that by will. I'm sure he's following directions. Onto the ground, hands on his head. This coming to an end now. South Los Angeles. I can't say I know the exact street. Probably about 40-something. It's on Figueroa. I'm going to use the power of Sky 2 and tell you it's 56th Street. 56th Street and Figueroa. Anyways, right now, officers haven't taken him into custody, but these guys right here, all these ones with the 05s on their trunk, They've been chasing this guy since the get-go. So you know they're done with it. They're exhausted. This guy on the ground, that's the suspect. The officers are checking that truck, making sure it is clear, meaning nobody else inside of it. Amazing. I got to say, that older Chevy, who doesn't love a Chevy? This thing just kept going and going and going. And right now, it stopped because he kind of got stuck there. And you can see suspect on the ground, and they're taking him into custody. They're definitely going to check him for weapons. That seems to be a cell phone. I would almost say a pager, but I don't know where that came from. Welcome to the 1980s. But anyways, this suspect now in custody, 56th Street and Figueroa, on Figueroa at 56th Street, probably a little bit more accurate for those nitpickers that are out there. Anyway, got to give a huge shout out while we're on Facebook to all the chase groups out there, but the Los Angeles Chase Group, and Shelly, you got mad love for you, you know that. And this is coming to an end out here. Hey, even the officers are like, yeah, thank gosh this is over. Another suspect in custody. Nobody was hurt. And that guy's going to get, whoever's owner of that truck is going to get that back. He's probably going to have a flat tire, but maybe it'll be all right. And officers from LAPD, one in custody. What did he throw out? I wish I could get onto my Facebook right now. I'm kind of wondering. I have no idea what that was. But LA Police Chase, love you guys too.